She'd just be accosted by autograph hunters and, hey, aren't you so and so, gawkers? This game universe has a heightened sense of reality, but this fell beyond my silliness threshold. Whee! Look, I'm the best. I'm not a sharpshooter though, but hey. Hmm. Confectioner. Alright. In these first areas, I wanted to establish the criminal nature of the trio. The catch was I forbid myself from using voiceover, dialogue text, or UI. Instead, I try to tell things through the environment. I like it when games, movies, books encourage you to make connections. Piecing information together is fun, and knowing the work trusts and respects you is satisfying. Yeah, it actually is. I totally agree with that. I really do like that as well. When, I'm just reading a book and it's like something gets pointed out, but not like shoved in your face, and it's like, wait, this actually totally explains this and this and this, which happened previously, or this and this action that this person did, or it's. I think that's really nice. Yeah. Um, Many players will speed through this world and ignore these environmental cues. That's okay. I'm okay with making games for specific audiences, and 30 Flights of Loving is certainly an example of that. Oh yeah, for sure. The name of the plane, Deathnox, is painted on the tail fins. Deathnox is the name of a Woody Allen short about a schlub's encounter with death. I performed this script in speech class during the high school, and I remember characterizing death with the world's worst attempt at a New Jersey accent. Really, the worst. Let's go. This is the first smash cut. These cuts play a large part of 30 Flights of Loving, so I wanted to make the first one very clear and obvious. Subtlety was out of the question. Anita suddenly appears bloodied up, the setting completely different, the music goes berserk, and the pace ramps up. The sudden change is confusing. It's not confusing enough to make you throw your computer out the window, but hopefully just enough to give your brain something to chew on. What's with all the blood? Why is there a gun on my face? What's up with that title? Yeah, sounds about right. How do you force a player to pick up a human body? After some ridiculous attempts at solutions, I hit upon just plopping him in front of the door. In order to fit the sitting animation, I placed some blocks beneath him. It bothers me that there are boxes stacked in front of the door. What kind of brain-dead facility stacks boxes at the foot of a door? I rationalized why I just pushed the boxes there as a makeshift barricade. It's very eye-rolly, but I suppose it's better than nothing. Yeah, I mean, I guess there is actually some logic behind that. Instead of manually scripting every person in the crowd, I coded a system to automate people generation. Characters randomly wander near waypoints. Additionally, their textures and walk speed are randomly chosen. It's occasionally hitchy and behaves badly around staircases, but it feels organic enough to pull off a crowd feel. Oh yeah, that it definitely does. The system was originally written for a surveillance game prototype that never panned out. Failed prototypes sometimes get a bad rep, and I think that's too bad. They're always educational and often produce very helpful bits of tech. Oh yeah, failing is really, really good. I call this the time hall because everything is accelerated. Something I wanted to do but couldn't pull off was changing the outside sky here. I intended for the sky to behave like a time-lapse video in a nature film. The sun and moon rising and setting, clouds speeding by 1,000,000 miles per hour. It kept looking janky, so I just removed it completely. I'm generally not a stickler for fidelity, but in this case the jankiness was just too distracting. Yeah, I don't think that's totally necessary because, yeah, I don't think it would have added too much. See those headphones? They appear just once in the entire game. They're not critical to gameplay, they're for a throwaway gag. That is absolutely the wrong way to make a game. It's inefficient and against the most basic tenets of production. And well, doing things wrong is part of what made development of 30 Flights of Loving so fun. There's something wonderful about making things you know the player will only see for a few seconds. Whoop. I wonder what he's gonna say about this, yeah. The disconnect between the player's knowledge and the player character's knowledge is an interesting problem. For example, the player character knows what this location is, but you, the player, have no idea. How do you bridge that disconnect? I still don't know. I try to bring the player up to speed as quickly as possible with the environment. The 3 beds, Anita's ease with you, how she doesn't mind if you munch her oranges. I guess that's why Amnesia is such an oft-used tool. You know exactly what the player character knows. It's a valid point that he brings up. Yeah, my family ate a lot of oranges at the dinner table. It's one of the more satisfying fruits to peel, with that Velcro-like ripping, and I wanted to share that. Bits from your personal life may not always be the most fun part of your games, but they almost always make the most unique parts. We never threw orange peels out a window. Anita is a litter bug, and I don't condone her actions. Yeah. Yeah, I do like oranges. I mean, everybody should. She chucks them far, though. I'm very curious about what he's going to say about the whole dancing party thing. I'm just going to rush ahead, because there's probably a note about the cats as well. No, there isn't. Huh, totally would have expected that. I think the cats are adorable. Just look at the little fella. Oh. Alright, hit me. Only there. Oh no, there's one here as well. Okay. Fun Cutter is a joke from a previous project I worked on. Fun Cutter? Vodka? Yeah. Oh, Fun Cutter, there. Panther Pilsner, I didn't even notice those. As the release date loomed closer, the reality of deadlines forced the team to make difficult choices and remove planned features. And so, Fun Cutter was born. A terrible blade that got fun out of the game. Whenever a feature appeared on the cutting block, someone in the design pit would grouse, look like it's time to bring out the Fun Cutter. Fun Cutter, why do you hate fun? It's kind of silly to make it alcohol then though, but hey, you know, fine. The floating dancers bit was a happy accident. That was an accident? Awesome. Like the automated crowd generator, I want an automated dancer generator. Spew a bunch of dancers on a dance floor, make them dance, and randomize their appearance and positions. I wanted to give them some procedural bobbing, like a crowd doing the wave, to verify my movement code was working. I made a quick test to see if they were able to move upward. Everyone just levitated up, and I instantly loved it. Floating people is exactly what I didn't know I wanted. See, that's cool. I really do like to see someone go through those things. Bring on the beer. Yep. Yep, that's awesome. It is. Ooh, there we are again. My family that's the same thing, damn it. Yep, that's again the same thing. Hi. Wish. What's this? Yeah, it's again, you know, it's the same area. It's okay. See, I'm still not. Ooh, what the fuck? Lone Goose and Gosling. This is a reference to Lone Wolf and Cub. I demand you read it. I shall check it out, or at least read a summary at the very least. In the bubble. During a previous project, the team and I was on had a small multidisciplinary strike team. This group worked independently with little oversight and were considered to be inside a protective bubble. The group was effective and colored my outlook on how to make games. It's amazing what can be achieved when you find that intersection of resources, autonomy, and time. Lorenzo's Lomine. This is a piece of legacy art from deleted content. At some point, you and your crew were to enjoy street noodles, at which point the game would become a first-person meal simulator. This was eventually replaced with the motorcycle ride. I think that's a bit of a bummer. Baboo, the sound a bird makes. Ultra Boost, the Idle Thumbs energy drink that will exist someday, somewhere. Bitter Melon, Servidia, Nueva Xeres, Maple Victory. These are places, things, events in the Blendo Games universe, referenced in my previous games. I get all gushy inside when multiple pieces of work all take place in the same universe. As I get older, I find myself more interested in history and genealogy, and I enjoy injecting that into my games. Ooh, that's probably not too good for Borges. And go! I wonder what he's gonna have to say about the whole shooting bird balloon camera things. Because what the fuck? I don't think they even do anything, but still. Yeah, I have no idea. The gunfight sequence had a lot of design challenges. First, I wanted a sense of peril. At the same time, I didn't want to introduce the concept of player death or health. Secondly, I wanted to play with the idea of flow, to get players into a groove. I tried to arrange events in such a way as to create a musical rhythm. Koyanis Katsi and Baraka were the inspirations for this bit. I have no idea who or what those are, but okay. Were I to redo this area, I'd synchronize the gunshots with the bird squawks, and when the timing works, it's great, but it relies too much on chance. Yeah, I think that would be a bit difficult, but hey. Limitations and happy accidents play a big part of development. For the sequence, I wanted a police blockade awaiting for you. This was liable to become production hell. Why? It's an outside area, so that requires blocking work and an expensive area. Since you'll be riding in a car, the car interiors need to look presentable at close range. This entails detailed model and texture work. Like Scrooge McDuck says, work smarter, not harder. As an experiment, I boiled everything down to silhouettes. This made the sequence more achievable on a production level, at the same time, more visually striking. Yeah, actually, there's no problem with that at all, I find. Oh, hi. The pillars created awful strobe effect when they whoosh past. If I were to do it again, I'd give them a fake motion blur texture, similar to spinning propellers. In this area, I tried to evoke that feeling of being awake at some ungodly morning hour, trying to stretch 7 pages into a 14-page term paper. Trying to stretch 7 pages, right? I mean, that needs a 2 there, I think. Yeah, the streets are completely empty, there's dead silence, and everything's vaguely post-apocalyptic. You feel like you're the only person in the world who's awake, accompanied by Anita and Borges. This area is loosely modeled after the National Museum of Natural History in Paris. I didn't actually see that museum. No, you know, I was busy. I didn't have too much time when I was in Paris, but in the future. When designing areas, I usually first spend time doing research. This means learning how things work and gather reference material. I find research important in how it gives specificity and grounding. It can take hours to find out one specific look, but I think it's well worth the time. This is what I call a blind hallway. When standing far away, the 90-degree bend makes it unclear whether this is a hallway or a dead end. And if it's a hallway, it's unclear whether it bends left or right. I find them deceptive and antithetical to good navigation, so I consider them a problem. Adding a beveled corner helps, as does playing with light, signage, sight lines, and texture work. This hallway is passable, but only because it's obviously the only exit to the room. Were there multiple ways out, I would have needed to spend more time making it more readable. "30 Flights of Loving" is the 7th Citizen Able game. The first one was made during high school, so keep your expectations at an appropriate level. Citizen Able, the self-entitled adventure. Bargain Bin Savior, the Civic Redemption. Malfunction Junction, the Puppy Ears, Gravity Bound, and 30 Flights of Lovin'. Yeah, I will have to check some of those out. Definitely. I oftentimes work backwards from the music. That is, I'll have a piece of music, or at the very least a type of music in mind, and build a game off of that. Really? Ooh. Okay. For Flotilla, I had some more classical music in mind, and tried to make a game that fit it. Atom Zombie Smasher? Oh, that's from him. Huh. Okay. I probably should have checked some stuff like that out, but hey. Initially started with opera music, and once it went into a different direction, the game likewise went through changes. 30 Flights of Loving was different in that I wasn't making a game off of pre-existing music. I found it surprisingly difficult to use words to describe what music I had wanted. Fortunately, Chris Remo had a great feel for it that would work well in the game. Yeah, I think so. It's difficult to maintain perspective on your projects. First, I know how everything works and is supposed to work. Secondly, everything just seems janky in my eyes. I have no way of seeing the work for the first time, with no prior knowledge or preconceived notions. That's why it's invaluable to have outside eyeballs take a look. Invite some friends, get a few pizzas, and take notes as they get horribly stuck in the first room of your game. Every in-person playtest I've done has always resulted in a handful of pages of ways my game is broken. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Death Knox. Okay, I totally didn't see that before. Yeah, do explain this, because what the fuck? Originally, the player entered this room via a perpendicular hall. From that angle, the airplane wing looked like a long grey beam. That's bad. So I shifted the hallway several feet. This gave a good angled view of the wing, but no problem. The player was no longer being led towards the glowing red button. The final solution was to add this diagonal ramp. This way, the player gets a good view of the wing and is also led to the red button. Even with the benefits of objective markers, mini-maps, and UI, it's a good exercise to 100% on level geometry to do the job. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Ooh, okay. Did not expect that. Wow. For something that is in the game so briefly. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all of those because I'm not sure how that actually records, honestly. But it's cool. How he shows that how he modeled the items, the people, the things. That's really cool. I like that. And this probably just kicks me to the menu. Right? Oh yeah, that was just that. Yep. The end. So, that was 30 Flights of Loving. You know, Citizen Able series, which I actually didn't know was a series, but I very much enjoyed going through that. It's an interesting thing. It's a really interesting way of storytelling, and I think it actually... it works quite well. It works quite well, and I'm actually really curious about the earlier parts, which I might just have to look up and, you know, grab and play through. Or experience, I should say. So, yeah, like, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I did. So, I'll see you guys next time. See you, dudes!